Let's get to our guy, Austin Price, on the Irish Network's hotline this morning. His time is brought to you by Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. 865-257-7897 is her telephone number if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. And she is the number one Tennessee baseball fan. She is the number one Tennessee baseball fan. AP, Austin Price, good morning, sir.
What's going on, Jason Swain?
Man, everything's going on, man. This has just been a weird, different, I won't say weird, but different off season for football. It's been a weird and different, I won't say weird. It's been a different June for most of us because we're so used to catching up with and keeping up with everything going on with Tennessee football, recruiting, camps, things like that, man. But the Tennessee baseball team, man, is really taking our attention, man, to Lindsey Nelson Stadium as they go on their run for a national championship. So it's been a little bit different around here, and I like it.
It's given you some much-needed content to talk about that isn't, who's going to be the starting quarterback in 2024.
So who is going to be the starting quarterback?
In 2024?
Mm-hmm. Arch Manning?
No, I don't think it'll be Arch.
What was your perspective of the Drew Gilbert Grand Slam? And you had a cool tweet that you could hear the crowd reaction from the indoor facility. What was your perspective on the Drew Gilbert Grand Slam, and where would you rank it amongst all-time Tennessee moments?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I think it's fair to try to rank it amongst all-time moments. Just because, it's like, trying to compare, greats in certain sports of different eras. Because you'll never get to compare it one side-by-side moment, that type of thing. I thought it was awesome for the kid. I thought it was awesome for everybody in attendance. It was pretty neat to be in the indoor and to hear I don't know how to explain it. If you've ever watched Bagger Vance, which is a golf movie, and Bagger leaves on the last hole and he's walking down the beach, and when they make the putt and the putt falls and he's walking down the beach, he hears the roar. He can from far away. And that's what it was. It was kind of just neat. I thought, honestly, I didn't know, because I was trying to follow it on my phone, and I meant trying to talk to these recruits, and I thought they had tied it, because I knew they had runners at first and third. What I didn't know was that they had loaded the bases. So I thought it was a game-tying home run, and then I looked at Twitter, and it says walk-off, and I was like, whoa, what? So, I think it was pretty cool for everybody there. Obviously, awesome for this team, and they just have that never say die attitude. No matter what's went on in the game, they battle to the last out, and they get LSU coming up this weekend. They've got all the emotions rolling in here with LSU and their outgoing longtime head coach, and Tennessee will I'm sure have to be nasty once again. To advance to Omaha.
Austin, I'm wondering how much Tennessee baseball is going to positively impact Tennessee football. And I think there's going to be a time sooner or later where Tennessee is going to be recruiting a quarterback or something like that plays baseball, and both programs are going to be very attractive, because I know that was the case back in the heyday with Tennessee track and field program and Tennessee's football program. And so how do you think that Tennessee baseball is going to help football? And do you think it's done it already with some of the positivity?
Well, sure. I think all sports play off of one another, Jason. So, when a basketball is rolling at a good clip, it helps football, or if football's rolling, it helps basketball. So, yeah, it's only natural that baseball would help all sports around it, not just football, but it helps, even like softball or Tennessee basketball or whatever. So, yeah, I think the best thing that can happen is to kind of get all of the sports kind of, winning at a certain level. So, the fact that Tennessee's going to be on national television all this weekend, if they can have a great atmosphere, and win the Super Regional and advance to Omaha, it only helps when you're, being recruited. Oh, that's a Tennessee game. Let's see how the fans are. Recruits look at that kind of stuff. Tennessee had a kid in yesterday, Drake Bowen, who's a highly ranked linebacker in the class of 2023 who also plays baseball. And Ben spoke to him and can fill you more in about it. But the facts are, it's just hard to play two sports anymore. But kids want to. They'd love to be able to play football and baseball or football and basketball or whatever. So I think that it definitely does rub off and help. And I think it's not just a football thing; it rubs off and helps all sports.
I do want to ask you about the night at Neyland, but first, real quick, somebody did want to have us ask you about the Kansas corner, Karan Prunty. Hope I pronounced his name correctly. Any traction there at all?
I think Tennessee has reached out. I think they would like to get in play, but I think the kid may end up going back to the state of Virginia. So again, they're trying to get in play there. Would love to be in play. So I don't want to say it's totally dead, but at the same time, right now it doesn't feel like there's as much traction there as there could be. But Tennessee's definitely trying.
And then with the night at Neyland, just how did that go for Tennessee? Who were some key standouts? It looked like maybe Tennessee's top quarterback prospect on the board, at least one of the top quarterback prospects on the board, Marcel Reed from NBA over in Nashville, was in attendance. How did he look?
Oh, no, Marcel looked really good. I thought he got stronger as the camp went along. And, the biggest thing for him is just adding weight. He's a little under 170 pounds. He just got to continue to get bigger, to kind of firm up the base and all that. He'll do that. He's got the frame that can do that. It's just a matter of doing it. And so, Marcel's a good-looking prospect. But Tennessee, I thought, had a really nice collection of 23s and 24s. And honestly, Ben, and Jason, that's what this camp season's going to turn into. This current class, which is 22, you don't see many of those kids camping unless they're trying to earn a specific offer. Like, if a kid's wanting an Alabama offer, they go down and they camp in Alabama. Or if a kid's wanting a Tennessee offer, they come and camp at Tennessee. But if those kids already have those offers, they don't come camp. Well, it doesn't help them to camp. It only can hurt. So, what you see is like the next two classes after the current class. So this year it's 23 and 24. Next year, not many 23s will camp. It'll be mostly 24s and 25s. That's kind of where camp season is headed and has been heading. And so, that's where, what you see when Tennessee has camps is, who is camping. It's all younger kids that just wrapped up their freshman year or their sophomore year of high school. And Tennessee, has done a nice job of getting those kids to campus. I thought Friday night with the night at Neyland, there was a really, really good group of skill guys here, and then a couple of good linemen. And then, Sunday they had a camp, and they offered a kid out of Chattanooga Baylor, and I think, Ben, you talked to him. Mm-hmm. He's 2025. He just graduated from middle school. Even though I don't think you really graduated from middle school, you just passed the 8th grade and moved to the 9th. But, he literally just left middle school, and he looked like he was 23 years old.
Austin, and this goes for Ben, too, because I know Ben is talking to recruits as well. What was the theme that you've kind of heard, or maybe the most common thing that you've heard from the recruits as they talk about their conversations with the staff and their experience and here on Rocky Top? What was maybe one or two things that you found yourself hearing from more than one or two of the athletes?
Well, one of the main things I continue to hear is just how well Josh Heupel connects. Again, a guy that came in as a, quote, weak recruiter, to me has been anything but since he got here. It's one of the things I've really taken notice of is the fact that whether I'm talking to a quarterback or a defensive lineman or a linebacker or an offensive lineman, they all rave about Josh Heupel. He is really he surprised me at the amount of traction he's gotten with recruits. I'm not saying his scheme. I thought his scheme would always get traction offensively, But, I mean, like, it doesn't matter if it's offensive recruit, defensive recruit, kicker. I mean, he is really putting in the time to building relationships with these kids, and kudos to him because he is getting a lot of the really positive feedback. That's not to say that the other coaches on staff are doing a bad job, because they're not. But what I'm saying is that he's the one that kids talk about a lot, and that's a good thing. You know, you need your position coaches to kind of tee you up, and then Heupel's got to come in and connect, and he's done a nice job of connecting, especially with these younger groups. In the class of 22, Tennessee's always going to be behind there because they literally, Auburn changed coaches late, and they had basically 6 to 7 weeks jump on Tennessee. And really, when you think about when Heupel actually finalized his staff, they had 2 months on Tennessee. And they changed coaches late. Auburn did. They changed them right around Christmas time. So Tennessee's timing with this 22 class was terrible. And it kind of is what it is. But, I think the staff's done a good job. Can they do better? Sure they can. Every staff can do better. But, I think they've done a good job of prioritizing in state. And, I think they're in a good spot with Caden Pope, Isaiah Horton, Cam Miller, and we'll see, if they can get any more traction with some of these other guys.
How did the 2 official visits go this weekend with 4-star running back Jalen Glover and 4-star linebacker Demario Tolan, both from the state of Florida?
Well, I thought, things went as well as they could for both. Tolan's the one, Ben, and you talked to Tolan. Tolan is the one that I'm kind of interested to see where he goes from here. What's he saying coming out of the rest of his official visits? Because I said last night in our chat on VolQuest, I don't think that any of these kids are Tennessee leans, but I also don't think Tennessee is a long shot for them either. I think they're right there in the mix. They're right in the mix. They've positioned themselves to be in this thing for both, and especially Tolan. And then I thought the fact that they got Joshua Josephs to come up on Saturday unofficially, after he was supposed to be in town officially, and then pushed his official visit back to the fall, which Tennessee's all on board with. Like, if you're Tennessee and you know a kid is not going to commit in the next 6 weeks before his senior year starts, push him back to the fall. Get him here for a game. Get him here to let him watch you play and coach and that type of stuff. Listen, summer visits are fine. There are people, because of baseball and because of camps, there are people on campus. But it ain't the same. It's just not the same. Comparing a official visit in June to an official visit, during a football weekend in the fall. Jason, when did you officially visit? Was that during the season or after?
It was after the season. It was December.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like the first week of December. I think like around SEC championship week, to be honest.
Gotcha. Okay, I just and that's kind of the theme. Like if you don't you either visit in the season or you visit those couple of weekends after the season's over. Especially now, you don't see many kids visit in January and February anymore because, let's face it, 80 to 85% of prospects, especially at the SEC level, are getting in the boat and signing early. So, because that's what the colleges want them to do. So, I think these visits in June are fine, especially get this current group who've been, caged up for the last year, not been able to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not going to do anything and you can push them back to the fall, I think it's beneficial because you get a better feel for everything in October for a game against, an SEC foe.
I saw where Taven Jackson is hitting up Knoxville, man. Anything you're hearing about players that he's been able to recruit and relationships he's been able to build, or just anything that's new with him?
Well, nothing really going on new. He's just trying to recruit, and he'll be in this weekend. And if I'm him, I'm leaning on Ryan Brubaker, who's the offensive lineman from Pennsylvania, who will be in this weekend. he would be a great addition. I thought for the longest time that Brubaker was bound for Penn State. He still may be, but just when you look at the fact that he went to Penn State first and not last on his official visit, he's going to, like Vanderbilt, Tennessee, South Carolina. I think Tennessee's got a shot here. Now, I still would, peg Penn State the favorite because Dad played there. But he could have shut this whole thing down after the Penn State visit or visited Penn State last, which would have obviously set up well for the Nittany Lions, and he didn't do that. So I'm kind of interested to see, what his reaction is to Tennessee this weekend because, Tennessee always shows well. The old adage that, you just got to get them on a visit to have a chance. That'll play this weekend.
The College World Series starts not this Saturday, but next Saturday, June 19th. Will Tennessee be there?
Man, Ben, you're the better question to ask than me.
But I'm asking you, not me.
The better question is when Tennessee's there and Ben goes, is Austin paying for it?
No, I'm not paying for it. Brent Hubbs, on the other hand, that's up to him.
AP's going with me. AP's going to go and cover it with me.
No,
Isn't
he's
that right,
not. He's
AP?
gonna go and try to find the nearest golf course.
But look here, exactly, because at the College World Series they have a day off in between each game. So
Okay, all right.
Austin and I can go golfing. Austin can suffer with having to golf with me for 3 hours.
Jason, I asked Ben to play golf today, and he turned me down.
He might be sleepy or something.
Well, I'd be single by the night if I went golfing instead of going to view the 2 houses that I'm scheduled to go look at with my wife as we're trying to buy a house. I'd prefer to stay married. Austin, I'm losing my hair. I can't afford to try to find another woman.
We're all
you got to get on Tinder. You got no game.
Please. Austin, is Tennessee going to make it to Omaha? You're not dodging this question. You thought you were slick, rubbing it off, pushing it to the side. Is Tennessee going to be in Omaha? What does your gut say? You don't have to give us a baseball perspective take. What does your gut say?
My Tennessee gut?
Sure.
My Tennessee gut says no. Because everything that can go wrong will go wrong when it comes to Tennessee athletics for Tennessee. Now, where I put the asterisk on this is the fact that this team doesn't care about the past. They don't care, man. This team is like Teflon when it comes to negative things happening to it. They continue to persevere. So in that vein, I say yes. So I've been around Brent Hubbs too long, who is just dyed in the wool Debbie Downer or Don Downer. He is always pessimistic, and this team just has that it factor. So that in that vein, I say yes. I take out all the stuff from the past, and I say Tennessee gets the job done because they believe. They have the utmost belief in themselves, and I think Chad Dallas will rebound with a much better performance coming up Saturday than, we saw against Wright State. And then, Tidwell. I love that kid, man.
Titty?
He wears John Smoltz' number, but he's got a little Smoltz, when it comes to throwing the heat. And I actually like Tennessee in a sweep.
Did you just talk yourself into it?
I heard that, man. No, but it's team, and then
no. You asked me
sweet.
I think they actually are going to sweep them in 2 games. That's my prediction, and that's not like the homer prediction. That's honest because I think this team doesn't care about what's happened in the past at every other sporting event for Tennessee in the last 15 years.
I agree.
I really think that. Again, as the jaded person in me says, everything that can go wrong will go wrong, but this team is different. It's just different. These kids are different. And just sometimes you see that. Rick Barnes' basketball team a few years ago was just different. They were just different. And this baseball team is different. There's there's personalities on this team. There's a swagger to this team. And so
I'm just glad we don't shoot free throws.
And all that's a trickle down from the head coach.
If you hit a walk-off grand slam, would your bat flip had been as epic as Drew Gilbert's?
Ben, I'm a trash talker, okay?
I'm aware.
Always have been. So, yes, that would have absolutely happened. In a much, much, much smaller spot in a intra-club golf tournament years ago, me and Terrence Hutton, who was my teammate on this inter-club golf outing, were playing two people from another visiting club. And on the first hole, I had about a 50-footer, and about 10 feet short, I just started walking towards it saying, "That's in," and pointing at the hole. So, yes, 100%, 100%, if that had been me, I would have flipped the bat and not thought twice about it. Again, there's a difference in showing up a pitcher in the middle of a game, but when the game is over and when that ball was hit, it was over, it's different. I think that it was different. I think anybody that whined and complained about that is soft.
There you go. Did your putt go in?
Oh, yes, that putt went in. And
Okay.
then I did it again about 3 holes later, and it was about a 30-footer. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm never going golfing with you. The last thing for me on a serious note from ATL VFL in the text box was asking about Evan Stewart and Caden Curry. Any traction there?
This doesn't feel like there's much. Now, you have to think that Tennessee's got a little bit of traction with Curry just because he's teammates with Haven Jackson. Evan Stewart, it just doesn't feel like there's any traction there. Like, I know Tennessee's tried. Cody Burns has tried to get traction there. But, and that kid, Evan's a kid, parents are from Memphis, both went to Tennessee, his sibling went to Tennessee, just graduated a year or two ago. So, like, everything should line up. But that's the thing. Tennessee's got to get back to winning the Evan Stewarts. They've got to win Addison Nichols coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend on his official visit. They've got to get back to winning those battles, like Tate Ratledge. Tate Ratledge, who is an offensive lineman at Georgia. They're from here. Grandmother was the biggest Lady Vols fan on the planet. Dad's a huge ball fan. If you remember the dad's video tape after the kid's commitment, peeling the Tennessee sticker off his truck.
I thought that was
Tennessee's
Tate Ratledge?
Tennessee's got to get back to winning those type of recruiting battles, the ones that you have ends on, that you have a path to landing the kid because of history and the fandom that the family has. You've got to get back to winning those. So maybe they don't win Evan Stewart. If they can win Addison Nichols, I think that's big.
We got a little breaking news from the Vol Network. I'm sure you're already aware about it, Austin.
Yeah.
Tim Priest retiring.
Yep, Tim Priest going out. Pat Ryan will be the new color analyst for the Vol Network. Hey, Tim's as good a guy, man. I hope he, got to spend some time with him over the years on road games and stuff. And, he's going to go spend time with those grandbabies and have a big time and be a grandfather and, just relax. I mean, you get to a point in life where, like, you want to just enjoy it and not be running around every weekend. And he's done that for 20-plus years. So congrats to him. And he is a treasure, much like Bert Bertelkamp is a treasure. And, they will miss him. With that said, they move one blunt guy out, and they move a second blunt guy in because Pat Ryan will give you his honest assessment. And that's really what that kind of position's calling for. So, Tennessee fans, will get much of the same with Pat coming up this fall. So, congrats to Pat and congrats to Tim Priest on, a great 20-plus year run as the analyst for Tennessee football, replacing the great Bill Anderson.
Can't beat it. Can't beat it. Can't beat Austin Price here on Tuesdays on the Swain Event. His time is brought to you by Jeffrey Morris with Keller Williams Realty. And AP, man, anything else before we get out of here today?
I don't think so. I think we covered the gamut there. Yeah, it's been a fun, what we had there, 27 minutes.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, man, as always, Austin, man, you guys kick butt, work your tail off and to provide recruiting coverage and just coverage in general of fans' team, man. So thank you for taking 27 minutes out of your morning to join us, and we'll do it again next week.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.
All right, see you.